Hello everyone, it is lunchtime. It is time to go through all the Liverpool news stories today. Indy Kyler had us all hanging on till 11:30 last night to drop a transfer bombshell. Probably not really, but I don't feel like he's too wide of the mark on this one with regards to Andre. We're going to cover that a little bit later. There's also been, I think there's 3 other players here today that we've been linked with and discussed by the likes of Fabrizio Romano and Christian Falk as well. So we've got loads to get through. If you want to interact with me live on the show, you can do. Use the YouTube chat. If it's a good comment, an interesting comment, a question, something that moves the conversation forward, then I will try my best to highlight good ones. Like Phil Connell here, who's one of our YouTube members, just says, yes, red men. Or yes, red men. Hello, mate. Yes, Phil. I guess we should really just dive into things. Let's do just that. We're going to start then with what's bound to be quite a regular occurrence leading up to the January transfer window, and obviously up until the moment where Mo Salah either signs a new contract or inevitably agrees a deal with either, the Saudi Pro League or MLS or whatever. We're going to see lots of players linked in those kind of positions, and that kicks off today with the Express, who have written that Liverpool could strike a January agreement to replace Mohamed Salah for free. Yes, they could sign a potential long-term replacement for Mohamed Salah without spending a penny. Athletic Club forward Nico Williams is currently set to be available on a free transfer next summer and can talk to foreign clubs about signing a pre-contract agreement from January. The 21-year-old is an exciting young player, they say, capable of playing on both sides and has managed 10 caps for Spain, with some of them coming at the World Cup in Qatar. And 90 Min say he's on Liverpool's radar, with Arsenal, Tottenham, Bayern Munich, Juventus, and Aston Villa all keen, really hitting the bases there. I wonder whether there's a world here we're going to see more and more Aston Villa links in these articles in the coming weeks, with them being right up there. See if they can kind of whet the appetite of the villains around the world. So, anyway, they say basically the Liga side, Athletic Club, still expect the Basque-born player to commit his future to the club, but he is rapidly approaching the window where he is able to speak to overseas clubs about moving as a free agent in 2024. So the contract standoff at San Mames not be resolved, Williams would be an attractive proposition for Liverpool, landing a player of his quality and potential at his age, twinned with his appealing versatility without the need for a transfer fee, would be quite the coup. Whoever's written this has really gone to town. It's almost like the football thesaurus they've used here. It's like, okay, who is he? Okay, he's this player. What do we know about him? We know like positions. We can look on Transfermarkt and see what positions he's played previously, or maybe he's checking on Footy Manager. Who knows? But I like the fact that they've gone through. Like, I genuinely, look, I might be being an overly cynical person here. I wonder whether the person who did this knew things like San Mames was the name of the stadium, and whether he knew that he was a Basque-born player, or did he have to go and do that research? I always like the fact that they've hit as many things, because it's got a real in-depth knowledge here. Really, really good in-depth knowledge. That adds that adds credence to the claims that it might be a realistic thing. I think the key thing in here is the line that is basically almost like shit sandwiched in between the possibility, shit, possibility, and the shit in the middle is La Liga side Athletic Club still expect the Basque-born player to commit his future to the club. So right now, it looks like, according to that he's likely to just sign a new contract and continue to play. And we see this happen with Athletic, don't we? Well, it's Athletic Bilbao, right? Iñaki Williams was one who was linked to Liverpool for years and years of links. And I checked it out. Does anyone know how old Williams is? Now, again, if you're a regular Footy Manager, FIFA player, you probably do know that. But do you know, off the top of your head, with how old would you say Iñaki Williams is? It's an interesting sort of game to play on this one. But I wouldn't say this is too likely. What I've done just briefly before we move on to the next one, I went on to FBref to have a little look at his statistics. Doesn't score a lot of goals, which is the issue. Now, the problem we've got with any Salah replacement is that there's no such thing as a Mohamed Salah replacement, basically. There's nobody who profiles quite like Mohamed Salah, who you would certainly not whom you would think to look at. And I did have a quick scout through a couple of different options there. But as Nico Williams, his progressive carry, successful take on touches in the attacking penalty area, and progressive passes received. Obviously that's a big sort of standout for him. But actually, when you stack him up next to Mohamed Salah, completely different footballers. Mo Salah at this point in his career is just a goal scorer. He just gets the ball in and around the penalty area and scores goals. And it's really interesting that lots of the lads I've seen linked as replacements are far more energetic. The progressive carries and take-ons are far higher for most players. Now, the question is, what are we looking to, and if we're looking, what are Liverpool looking to replace Mo Salah with? If you can't directly replace what he actually is, do you go and get something that's functionally different and change your style? Are Liverpool looking for something more like a Luis Diaz kind of mold, or a Gabriel Martinelli or a Bukayo Saka? All names we've kind of seen, those two names we've seen mentioned with Liverpool over the years. Obviously, a much harder gets now that Arsenal are a half decent football side. But yeah, this idea of what Salah is, it's even more pronounced this season. He's just literally picking the ball up around the 18-yard box and scoring or assisting. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm not sure whether he will move. You see this a lot actually with Athletic. They do seem to hold on to players, particularly because they've got this penchant for keeping hold of and being filled with as many Basque sort of players as possible. So yeah, right, okay, cool. We will move on momentarily from that. Let me just quickly check the comments. Nick McHugh here says, maybe a daft question. Couldn't Big Dom replace the Egyptian king? Yeah, but then you've got to replace Big Dom, haven't you? I think Szoboszlai is just so good. Now, look, he might be even better. You might push him into the front three, and he might all of a sudden become a 20-plus goal a season machine. That's entirely possible. My overall feeling is we'll just buy someone else, and it'll probably, as I say, be more like a Luis Diaz than a Mohamed Salah, someone who does a lot more of the outside the box work, loads of pace, loads of carrying of the ball, and someone to link with the forwards, because I think in Núñez and Jota, I think we've got the penalty box players there, but it is interesting. And Dahi Bonehead here says there's no such thing as a Salah replacement, by the way. Yeah, absolutely, totally agree on that one. There is just nothing quite like him. In fact, to be fair, there's just, you sign centre forwards because that's how he plays at this point for us. But I mean, King Mo does say, just to kind of expand on the point from earlier, Dom right wing, Mac and Grav in the eights. I like it. Yeah, but the thing is, you own those footballers. You're leaving yourself with one less footballer if you don't actively replace Mohamed Salah. Now, there's something where, like, Bendo could step up and be a part of that. Absolutely. And Liverpool have got Liverpool have fixed the midfield. Let's not unfix the midfield by moving players out of the midfield into different positions, right? Okay, cool. Damien Janowski just says Valverde can play on the right wing. Yep, he can. There's another footballer who can as well, and that footballer is Rodrigo. This via PaisleyGate.com, who say Klopp loves, willing to sign 87 million playmaker to replace Salah, journalist. It's a absolutely grade A example of clickbait headline speak bollocks, which I'm all here for, by the way. I love a little bit of it. I love a little bit of a sentence that makes no sense because you've just crammed one too many SEO keywords in there. Anyway, they say Liverpool are already linked with a number of quality wingers to replace Mohamed Salah, and once again the name of Rodrigo is in the limelight. According to reports in Spain, Jurgen Klopp is willing to sign the Brazilian international to replace the Egyptian superstar at Anfield. He's willing. Oh, go on. If I have to, I'll sign Rodrigo. According to Eduardo Inda, Klopp loves Rodrigo, the journalist stated in Diario Madridista. Quoted as saying, Klopp, in addition to being a great coach, likes good players. He likes a Real Madrid player that the leadership loves, but who could leave if Mbappe arrives in the summer? He is a player who would be thinking of him to replace Salah. The player he loves is Rodrigo. He would put him in the band because he is to replace the Egyptian. If Mbappe comes, there would be many overloaded positions at Real Madrid. They go on to say. Paisley Gate go on to say, Rodrigo's a versatile talent who can play on either flank and even as a centre forward, but he has mainly excelled on the right flank. Scored 5 goals, provided 2 assists in Madrid's Champions League winning campaign in 22. Last season, directly contributed in 30 goals in all competitions, 19 goals and 11 assists, which is far more like it, by the way. If you're looking at numbers for someone who's going to come in and take a shit that was owned by Mohamed Salah, they are much more like it. They say since the departure of Benzema, the Samba star has featured in the number 9 role and scored just 2 goals in 13 appearances so far in the current campaign. That is less like it. He does not want to play as an out-and-out striker. At Madrid value him at around 100 million euros, 87 million. There we go. What do we think then? Rodrigo? Would we have a Rodrigo? Nathan Bice. Jesus, whoever writes these stories. Yeah, I want to come to his stats in a second, but Iggy LFC says, what about Neto? I have no doubt he'd be on Liverpool's radar. No way he wouldn't be, as he would with all of the top clubs. You know, there's no way that City and Chelsea wouldn't be interested in picking him up as well. There remains the question of whether he can stay fit enough for long enough to truly kind of crack that top level. But he's good. He's good, isn't he? Right, let's just have a quick look at Rodrigo. Then let me just get this up. So he's another one, actually. Oh, Christ, let me not skip all the way past that. I mean, his passing stats and his take-on stats are absolutely through the roof. And this is last 365 days, so this will cover his brilliant goal-scoring return from last season and his less than great one so far this, to be fair. That's as a forward. I only just noticed this lately. In this, just look at his things from an attacking midfielder sense, not quite as impressive, but as a forward, yeah, good, really good. Let's just overlay that with I'd love to overlay this with Mohamed Salah. Let me refresh this, and then I will overlay this with Mohamed Salah. And have a look and see just how he kind of stacks up. But just at a glance from looking at the progressive stuff, as we've already mentioned, Salah doesn't do a lot of that anymore. So it's not going to be a sort of like-for-like standby, stood alongside comparison. Right, look, cool. Let's get Mo Salah on there. So, but I mean, in terms of that as a forward, I mean, that is much more like it. Yeah, that is actually comparing as a forward. Actually, when I realised what we were doing was compare Salah to attacking midfielders before. Let's just do that as well. Yeah, okay, Rodrigo then. Buy Rodrigo. I think we can all agree that Liverpool need to go. We need to go and buy. We need to go and buy him. So Nathan Bice, clickbait. He says, you mean, where is it? You mean Andre agrees terms? Andre agrees terms, question mark. That's what we put in our title. It's very different. Very different. I will come to that as well in a bit. Okay, cool. We're going to do a little bit more moving forward. Right, sounds. Let's go to Christian Falk, who's been talking about Liverpool's interest in a Hoffenheim youngster. This via Dave O.C. Cop's website. Christian Falk provides updates on Liverpool's interest in Maximilian Bayer. The youngster has been in very good form for Hoffenheim this season, they say. It's been previously reported that Liverpool were interested in TSG Hoffenheim's Maximilian Bayer. Sport Bill's Christian Falk suggested that Bayer was on Liverpool's list. Still only 20 years old, the pacey striker is the second fastest player in the Bundesliga this season, with a recorded speed of 35.45 kilometers per hour. The 20-year-old is only behind Leroy Sané in terms of speed in Germany this season. With Jörg Schmadtke's expertise coming from the Bundesliga, it is of little surprise that the Reds are once again dipping their toe into the German First Division. Now Falk reports that Bayer has signed a new contract with Hoffenheim, despite the interest from Liverpool, Everton and Brentford. My word, there's a mixed bag. The new contract contains a release clause which may encourage Schmadtke to seek a deal. Additionally, the German journalist reports that Liverpool sent scouts to watch the player firsthand. I mean, there we go. Cool. That's a lot of article written around a tweet from Christian Falk, which says, true, tick. Despite the concrete interest of Brentford and Everton, Maximilian Bayer, 21, signed a new contract at Hoffenheim till 2027, including a release clause. With 6 goals, the striker is in the top 5 of Bundesliga. Also, Liverpool scouted Bayer. Okay. There you go. I mean, that definitely feels... I mean, look, he's talking about concrete interest from Brentford and Everton. Liverpool have scouted him. I wouldn't be reading too much into that, if I'm being perfectly honest. But Liverpool, of course, will have a watching brief on all top talent. And again, as mentioned, the Schmadtke stuff is there. It's an obvious connection to make, who's supposedly effectively our Bundesliga expert. He'll know who this guy is. Jürgen Klopp will too. He's a big fan of watching the Bundesliga as well. So yeah, there is that. Yeah, but I wouldn't read too heavily into that. I have just quickly got his season stats up so far. Let me just find them. So yeah, 8 appearances in the Bundesliga so far, 6 goals. I mean, in just 475 minutes of football, that is a really, really good return. Just 10 minutes in the German Cup as well, and no goal return in that. But he's got 6 goals and 1 assist, so 7 goal contributions in 9 appearances is, yeah, that's impressive, and just looking at it in terms of how his minutes have kind of come so far this season. Yeah, all I think all as a centre forward. Yeah, impressive. This is the beginning, it looks like, of his breakout sort of campaign. One to keep an eye on. Is he good enough to play for Liverpool? Well, we'll have to see. That would be a stretch, I would imagine, but we'll see in due course. Anyway, speaking of stretch, here's Fabrizio Romano on the Dave OC Cop. Oh, no, sorry. Hang on. Oh, wait there. It's a very similar written article. I got very confused for a moment there. He says, Fabrizio Romano confirms Liverpool interest in Bundesliga 2 starlet. The Reds could try and get the teenager as early as January. It was previously reported that Liverpool are interested in Schalke 04's Asan Ouedraogo. Go ahead. Ouedraogo? Yeah. Nailed it. The 17-year-old has burst onto the scene in Bundesliga 2, Germany's second division, this season, already notching up 10 appearances and managing to score a goal. Operating primarily as an attacking midfielder, Asan Ouedraogo has got some of Europe's biggest clubs on red alert. Now Fabrizio Romano has responded to the widespread reports linking the Reds to the teenager. Widespread. Writing in his daily briefing, he said there have been reports about Liverpool being keen on Schalke youngster Asan Ouedraogo. Yes, it's true that Liverpool like him, but it's the same for Bayern Munich and AC Milan. They're all informed on his situation, on his release clauses. He has different ones based on the clubs interested. For sure, he's a top talent, and that's why those 3 clubs are interested. I think he has great potential. He'll need some time to develop, but he looks a very good player. There are some slight concerns around his position. It's great, Dave OC Cop. He mainly operates as an attacking midfielder, a role that doesn't really exist in Jurgen Klopp's tactical setup. Fabio Carvalho springs to mind when thinking of a young player brought in with lots of expectation, only for there to be no favoured position available in the lineup. Still young, and his position can change, but he's also comfortable playing as an 8 or on the left wing, apparently. Naldo here nailed it, says Drago and Adria. Klopp really does love the Rocky films. He really, really does. I'm trying to get him and he'd score the win and he'd go, Drago! I think he would. I think we can all agree that would definitely happen. Definitely. Right. Right, Sal. We are going to move on. Actually, before we do, we had a comment actually just with regards to the Mo Salah stuff from King Mo here. Who said, how much are we going to get for Salah, lad? That's the bigger question. Look, I don't think Liverpool are going to get 300 million or 250 million or 200 million for Mohamed Salah. I don't think they will. It will be interesting to know whether Salah actually wants to move. Does he want a new contract? Does he want to continue to play at the highest level, or is he prepared to go and play in the Saudi Pro League? There's a weird situation developing there where it's not taking off quite as much as I think everyone expected it to. Obviously, Neymar's now injured as well, which won't help things. I think you look at the impact Messi's having in the MLS, and you look at the impact that some of the footballers are having in the Saudi Pro League, and that's to say, not great. And the crowds they're playing in front of and the facilities, I'm not sure how much. I think seeing how crap the Saudi Pro League has been this season might actually help Liverpool's case to keep Salah around a bit longer, whether they want him in disguise or not. Sorry, I've just read that word and think in disguise. Sorry, I just read that from Plou. Are you in the Gala in disguise? I am very much not. Yeah, it's whether that just diminishes the lure of that. And, I don't know if money is enough when you're someone as good as Salah. And if he has a particularly brilliant season, as he's already having, if he has that all season, will he think, well, I'm too good for the Premier League and, in Europe. I'm miles too good for that league. It means that I could have 5 years at the top and still go and be better than the Saudi Pro League. But yeah, we will see on that one, right? But honest answer is, in terms of the fee we get for him, I don't know. It'll come down to an interesting question of Liverpool are going to have to sell him at the point at which he's still got contract left, and will Salah want to move at that point? Yes. Right, okay. Indy Kyler then, who is very much not me. And anyone who's ever met Indy will know that. Exclusive. Andre Trindade has agreed personal terms with Liverpool Football Club. Liverpool are negotiating with Fluminense. Liverpool want to sign the player in January. Alisson Becker is playing a big part bringing Andre to LFC. Now, I think that last part, I'm not saying that's not the case, but we don't have any other Brazilians anymore, do we? That's right. I'm right in saying that, right? Alisson's our only Brazilian left. So, and Tafarel, technically. So I think that just feels like a bit that's been tagged on just to add a little bit of legitimacy. I mean, yeah, sure. They'll speak the same language, Portuguese, fine. It's possible that he's speaking. But I know, sorry for the yawn and everyone. I do every other lunchtime. I've tried. Do I eat lunch and does that give me the energy to power through, or do I not eat lunch and then I'm a bit low energy levels? There is no right answer. I'll just need to get to bed earlier. But yeah, we've been speculating around this for a while. There's a really heavy rumour about Andre at the back end of the summer transfer window that Liverpool were going to do a deal between now and January. Well, between then and January. It is the most likely transfer for Liverpool, I think. I think it's the most likely player to join Liverpool in January right now is Andre. I'm seeing Arsenal links, but I just can't see how, unless they came in and absolutely blew Liverpool out of the water with some mad bid. I think this will be an example that we fell foul of with a little bit with Bellingham, certainly with Caicedo. That if Arsenal try to jump in here, I think the fact that Liverpool have put the groundwork in over the last sort of 6 months leading up to January will probably pay dividends in that regard. I might be totally wrong, but that's my general feeling on it. What I did see off the back of this, if I let me know first and foremost. Sorry, Ed Stone, absolutely not. I've been staying up late because I'm a moron. That's why. It's not even staying up late. It's having to get up early. School runs, mate. Brutal. Right, yes. Anyway, there's a great little thread that I saw on this from Fluminense for foreigners. Fluminense_ing. And this was from a while back. This was published in July. So a lot of you might have seen this at the time, but he was talking about it being the birthday at the time of Andre. And so he decided to write a thread on him around the transfer window talk with Barca, Liverpool, Fulham and Man United at the time linked. Some really interesting stuff in this. And again, he's got a blue tick, so have I. If you're stupid and you've got a little bit of money, you could do that. He does follow Redman though. Good to know. Anyway, he said he started to play in Fluminense's youngsters as a 9, then ended up as a 10, then an 8, and then a 6. Became a leader and captain in their youngsters side. Struggled initially, was about to be loaned out, but a player got injured and he got his opportunity. In 2021, was elected the surprise player of the Campeonato Brasileiro. He was 20 in 2022. He was already a starter and one of the technical leaders of the team. Was a main man of the team. Fluminense won the Campeonato Carioca against Flamengo and helped Fluminense to end the Campeonato Brasileiro nailed it in third place. Yet in 2023, he was called by Fluminense's national team and won Campeonato Carioca against Flamengo again. Got his first 2 national call-ups and his debut and kept on what he's doing and amazing the world. May 2022, the coaches Fernando Diniz, a coach who values ball possession and passing the ball, attracting pressure and providing number superiority in offense, which really helped Andre. One extra on Diniz, perhaps he values ball possession. His game is the opposite of Pep's style. His game is relational and the players don't have to be attached exactly in that position. That's why Andre isn't always as a 6 with the ball possession and people think he's an 8. That's really interesting. I've seen a lot of people saying that he's not a 6. He's the best defensive midfielder in Brazil. Nice dribble, press resistance, extraordinary pass completion rate. He's ready to play in Europe. In some Fluminense games, when they need to obtain results, he takes off one of the centre-backs, puts Andre as a centre-back, even though he's only 1.76 metres tall, puts another defensive midfielder and gets a better first phase. Rarely it doesn't work. The most time it works. And there's some other bits and pieces. You can check that thread out yourself. But just encouraging. Nice to hear someone say some positive things about him as a footballer, of course. That does seem very, very... As I said, that one feels the most likely of everyone would be a link with... so far, I mean, obviously Tom Darby here saying we need a defensive midfielder. Yeah, and again, he kind of looks like that, to be perfectly honest. He feels like the one. Like we'd have got that done in the summer if we could have done, or maybe if Liverpool had known a little earlier in the window, they maybe could have tried earlier. But by the time they move for Andre, he's deep into the Copa Libertadores, which I think has become the central part around this. The Brazilian season's coming to an end. In fact, where are we? We are a week and a half away from the final of the Copa Libertadores. You'd expect that to gather pace beyond that, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, good stuff. Really, really good stuff. David does say if we sign Andre, there won't be much game time for the likes of Bajcetic. Possible, but also I think we're being very careful with Bajcetic. I think having had such a long injury and he's out again, he's young. There's no need to rush him. I think we've got an absolutely tremendous footballer there. And it's worth remembering that Endo's not going to be a Liverpool player for years and years and years and years, I would suspect. Bajcetic has got a very long future in the game. I think both as a Trent understudy and as a number 6. And look, there's no reason why he can't do an 8 job. There's no reason why he can't do a centre-back job. He's a brilliant footballer. But right now, he's not fit to play games. Liverpool need to wrap him in cotton wool, make sure his rehabilitation's right. So yeah, and look, we're seeing this already. One of the reasons we struggled against Brighton was off the back of the Spurs game with injuries and suspensions. The advantage we've bought ourselves in the transfer market left us. We were left with Ben Doak as the only attacking option, and so we weren't able to rotate. We want to be able to keep things fresh. It looks like Klopp's really got his head around the idea of 5 substitutes this year, and to be able to play 100-minute games of football at a high intensity. So, I don't see that it's necessarily going to be even the end of Alexis McAllister as a 6. There's times where you'll want someone like him in there, but Andre feels like he's got the combativeness that Endo supposedly bringing. He's got the silky skills and, control and bravery on the ball that McAllister has. So he's a natural better fit than either of them. But yeah, I like this. I think that's the one. I think we're missing another. I think I would be looking to replace Kostas Tsimikas bare minimum with a left-footed centre half who can do a bit of left back, and a proper can definitely play in the number 6, but has got more attributes than being just a destroyer. They're the positions Liverpool are truly lacking, and then arguably an understudy for Trent. But yeah. I'm encouraged by that. I really am. And actually, good point from Damien Janowski here. If Andrew comes in January, he can't start straight away. He will need a break. Yeah, and that's just something that's definitely going to be worth considering. Liverpool do need to be careful about things. But again, hopefully by that point, Endo is up to speed and he's able to be a bit more provide a bit more competition. So yeah, but again, it remains to be seen what happens with all that. I'm just going to quickly have a look, actually, just for completeness, at the Fluminense fixtures. So yeah, they play all the way up to the 3rd of December. So actually, it's not too bad. If his season finishes on the 3rd of December, you could legitimately give him, he could have a month off and then come into training and then have a couple of weeks training and then start to be introduced. You know, there's a chance that there's FA Cup games, there's a chance there's League Cup games in January as well, where you could slowly start to integrate him. And then by the time February comes around, you might be ready to kind of unleash him if they do go down that route, of course. But yeah, that's it. They will have to be careful of that, but it was certainly it was an interesting point. Right, sound. Cool, that is it for me. If you want to, by the way, there's a couple of things I need to draw your attention to. I've seen a few people asking. I'm just going to quickly, I should have done this beforehand, so bear with me. If people asking about the jumper, you can grab one right now, redmanmerch.com. They are shipping today. They are very limited in stock. We've got one of last year's, the green and red one from last year's as well. The grey and red are sold out now. But yeah, make sure you grab this one. In fact, I'm going to do a little spin for you. Look at this. Go on, Joe. Give me back. Nailed it. That's what we've all come for. Male Adonis. It's boss. Head to redmanmerch.com and go and have a little closer look at it if you want to, but grab one while you can, because yeah, the thing about a lot of our t-shirts and hoodies and sweatshirts and stuff are print to order, so you know you can order them whenever you want and they'll make one and send one out. These are knitted, so they get done in a batch. So once that batch is gone, the batch is gone, and you've missed your chance. It's as simple as that. Like with the grey and red one, as we can see there. So yeah, make sure you grab one while you can. And if you want more Redmen content, we've got Journo Insight coming up, or already on. Is it out already, or is it coming up? Yeah. Yesterday, Journo Insight, brilliant. How in-depth I know my own content. Documentaries galore and the rest. If you head over to redmanplus.com and use the code NEWS, NEWS, you're going to get a monthly subscription for half price for the next 2 months. So 50% off, half price. Have a little gander at all our videos and podcasts, documentaries, features, interviews, pre-match, post-match. Fill your boots on amazing Liverpool content at half price. So yeah, go to redmanplus.com, get a Captain monthly subscription and use the code NEWS to get it for half price. And yes, Imran Adam, Paulie trying to say we should start school later in the day so that you can get a lie-in. Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. I see no reason why kids need to be in school at 8:30 in the morning. No one wants to work at that time. Certainly not me. Right, cool. Thank you so much for joining me. That's been absolutely wonderful. You guys have been great. Thank you so much to all the commenters, for everyone who's liked the video, and of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll be back with another one tomorrow. Thank you so very, very much for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. The season is now well underway. If you need extra Redmen content, be it podcast, videos, documentaries, interviews, and general shows, fill your boots on redmenplus.com today.